There we go.
As a reminder, please mute yourself when others are speaking and rename yourself with the role that you will be filling today. And we do have some additional roles open. So I think we have Toastmaster of the Day.
And Dottie, are you
Generally
going to be
valued.
here? Dottie, are you going to be here for the whole meeting? Maybe you'd like to try being Toastmaster.
This is the month
Oh,
that I must leave for the
okay.
meeting I'm in control of. Thank you.
Okay. Just thought I'd extend that offer.
So there's also General Evaluator, All Counter Grammarian, and Timer. So is anyone?
I have just signed up for a timer today.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Need to refresh the page.
Ah, I am seeing it on my end at least.
Yes, I see it now.
Okay.
I can do a counter.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, Candace is here.
Hello, how you guys doing?
Hi, Candace.
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm trying to I just want to get my background blurred out before I come on.
Oh, okay.
Let's see how can I do it.
Okay, so it looks like we just have Toastmaster of the Day and General Evaluator.
I'll do Toastmaster of the Day.
Okay. And I guess I'll do General Evaluator. So with that, I will turn it over to our Toastmaster of the Day, Distinguished Toastmaster Karen Baird.
Thank you. Let me give me a moment while I increase my volume. Oh, good. Amy's coming as well. Hello, fellow Toastmasters. It's my pleasure to be here with you tonight for our final meeting of the year 2024. We have a good agenda ahead of us. Do we have any roles that are not filled at this time?
I think we're all set.
Okay, wonderful. As far as club business, Bill has already mentioned that we have officer training coming up in January. So we'll have to make sure that officers who have not been trained, please see if you can attend either in person or through Zoom. Do we have any other club business for the day?
What's going on with the speech competition? Are we sending anyone?
No one has volunteered.
Okay.
I would love for our club to send 2 people. And I would love to send the same people we sent last year.
And when is that?
Would you be willing to represent us?
What's the date?
I am not sure. Bill, do you know the date of our area? It will be coming up in January, I'm sure.
Well, if I have no other conflicts, I could do it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kimberly.
Now we have 2 contests. One is the international speech, which we always have. So Kim, you'll be participating in that?
I'll just do the table topics one. I don't want to do
No,
that.
no, it's not table topics.
Oh, then never mind. I rescind my offer. Sorry.
Oh.
It's evaluation.
You have to evaluate somebody.
So they'll have a target speaker, and then there's evaluators. The other one is international speech.
What about you, Jelena? Are you up for a competition?
Sign me up.
All right. And for our newer members, you're not eligible to compete in the contest for the international speech contest until you complete 2 levels.
But you are eligible to compete in the evaluation contest.
Yes, as long as you're a member. Yep. All right.
This is just not even real.
All right, now we're going to go ahead with the Word Master presentation for the day. So I'll invite Word Master Dottie Hamilton to unmute.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. As word master of the day, I am picking the word ACME, ACME. It has just been released into the chat. What we do with that is it increases our vocabulary,
Yes.
and during the meeting, when someone uses the word ACME, then we acknowledge with a hand clap to let each other know we acknowledge that you did the word of the evening. Acme is a noun, the highest point or stage, something or someone that represents perfection of the thing expressed. Here's a sentence. The acme of the Lions football season is their hard-won victory over last year's champs. And I thank you kindly. I return it back to Toastmaster of the Day, Karen Beard.
Thank you, Dottie. We're going to go into our prepared speaking portion of the meeting, and our speaker is going to be Bill Moylan, who has a very special presentation. And you may notice something a little different about the presentation this time. His presentation is going to have some people, shall I say, helping him reach the acme of dealing with a difficult audience as he makes his presentation for persuasive influence on increasing attendance at club meetings. Please welcome Bill Moylan.
Can everyone see my screen? Well,
Yes.
good, excellent. So, yes, good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and I guess our welcome guests. My presentation was we're planning for success, and it'll be the acme for us of this club to be President's Distinguished as the MetroMasters Club. Now, my agenda. I'm going to look where we're at in mid-year. This is December 2024, where we want to be at the end of the program year in June of 2025, and my suggested plan to get to President's Distinguished. Now, where are we at right now in the Distinguished Club program? I did put into the chat the uploaded Distinguished Club program status for the club report, and
I already checked that earlier, Bill. I think things are going pretty good, and I don't know why, it has to be such a big deal to talk about it now.
well, you plan your work and you work your plan. So we're halfway there, but we still got a lot ways to go. So let me go through this. On page 1 of this report, but these are the things completed as of tonight. We have completed one level 5. Tonight, I'm completing a level 4, and we've had the timely submission of our officers list, and we got our dues in before October 1st. So that gives us 3 goals. Now, here are the ones that are in progress. So Karen makes an interesting point. We're doing well. See, we already have 2 level 1s, but we still need 2 more. We have 1 level 2, we need 1 more. And goal P3, we need 2 more level 2s. P4, we have 1 level 3, we need 1 more. Our goal P7, this is on new members. We have 2 new members that have paid their dues, and we need 2 more. Goal P8, we need 4 more new members. And P9, 5 officers have been trained in the first half of the year.
This is pretty confusing. This is so confusing, Bill. I don't know. It's a lot of details.
Well, this is what the Distinguished Club program is about. We have both the speaking, the educational portion, our administrative things like getting things on time and growing our club and having our officers properly paired for success. So to reach this acme, where we want to be at year end, that is to be that we've earned all 10 Distinguished Club program goals, and that'll put us at President's Distinguished. Now, the plan to get there, the key point is this. We've got to get our members to speak regularly at our club meetings. And how are we going to be able to do that? And as your VP of Education, here's my to-dos. Now, this is also in the item I put in the chat. It's on page 3. But for January through June, I have a proposed speaking plan. And what it would be this. Soon I will create the meetings for January through June in Free Toast Host. That's where we can sign up for our club responsibilities and roles. These will be on the second and fourth Tuesdays. Now, we also have that club contest in there, so we could also put that in once we know the date. It's going to include 3 to 4 speakers per meeting, because I'm going to pre-schedule all the members to speak for 3 times over the 6-month period, January through June. Now, the focus is on pathways, levels, completions. That's what we need. And the members need to confirm their assignment. Although VP of Education Bill can assign you, you still have to confirm it. Now, here's my participation and contribution. So far in July through December, I've completed 5 educational awards and pathways, levels 1 through 5, including tonight.
I am also completing my pathways tonight.
That's great. Excellent. So we're already there, right, Jelena? Fantastic. Now, for the next 6 months, I'm going to be working on my Persuasive Influence Level 5. It's a high-performance leadership project. This is not just a speech, it's multiple, but I'm working with an advisory committee to affect something beyond the regular club. And I'm also working on my DTM number 20, which I want to assign to MetroMasters. These 2 things can't be assigned as an award until July of next year.
Phil,
So
I think that it's a kind of difficult for people to have their speeches assigned to them because you never know what people are going through and they might have obligations. They can't make it to the meeting. Like we saw today, several people were unable to make it as planned. So I think that we should have a sign up sheet on Slido where everybody can sign up on their own preferred dates.
Well, thank you, Kim. We have that now. And we've missed a lot of public speaking things. So I think by putting it there on a planned program, you can review it and see how I've given everybody, staging of the 3 speeches through over 6 months. If you can't make it, you can reschedule yourself because there'll be that extra slot. You can drop one and add another. And then I'm also the sponsor mentor for a new club with the federal government agency in downtown Detroit. We look like we're going to be able to charter that club very soon. It could be this month of December or in January, but that would then complete my DTM number 20. Now, here's the big question that all of you are going to have to ask. Are you ready, willing, and able to do your part?
Yes, Bill. I feel I am ready, willing, and able. I would just like to say, we're talking all the time. Even when I do the word master, I'm talking. Even when I do evaluation, I'm talking. Even when I do table topics, I am talking.
Yes, that's correct, Dottie. But what does that do for the club in the Distinguished Club program? It doesn't get us, we have to have good meetings. Yes, that's the forum of what this club is about. That's the purpose of a club, is to provide this environment. But we need members to be meeting their speaking goals to get the awards that get us points. So we need participation, but we also need that critical contribution. So at this point, and thank you for already jumping in, but if anyone has any more questions, comments, or criticisms, I'll take them from the floor. Anyone? Karen, Jelena, your club officers?
Well, I just feel like you're coming down really hard on us, It's a
Well,
volunteer organization, and now you're coming down
yes.
really hard on us.
Well, I saw what happened in the first 6 months.
I mean, the weather is really good out there.
Well, let's keep focus here. The thing of coming down on you, we as a club are on this together. And this is what I'm trying to push for and to pull for. So here's a plan. If you wish to reschedule yourself, you can. But the goal is that we each speak at least 3 times. Now, Jelena and Kim were both talking about participating in a contest. That should be a speech out of Pathways. It can always count. There's a lot of ways to make that work. And so if we are speaking outside of the club, getting it evaluated, that can count towards it. And as VP of Education, you submit that request. I can approve it ahead of time. When you complete it, we can get you credit that way. So there's a
I just
lot of
don't know
ways
if
to
I'm gonna be able to do the
multi-process.
speech. It's just a lot.
And Amy, when you say it's a lot, how many speeches would you like to give this coming 6 months? That's the way we grow, is, stretching ourselves to do more. That will give us the acme of where we need to be as a club. Anyone else? Well, thank you for your questions, comments, and criticisms. And thank you for your support, because together we're going to win this award. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Bill. That was a very, very different kind of a speech for us. And I think I speak for all of us. It felt a little weird jumping in and talking over top of you. So we move on to
I won't say that I'm used to it, but I have been the professor for years. And people ask me, why would you do this? As a professor, I said, it prepares me for my work as an expert witness in court. Because now when I face off against any attorney, I look at them and say, you guys aren't tough. You ought to see the students I got. You ought to see the Toastmasters that got me here. Okay.
Thank you, Bill. Next, we have a 5 to 7 minute prepared speech by our own club president, Jelena Verkler. She is going to be speaking from the presentation mastery pathway to inspire the audience. So let's welcome her with her 5 to 7 minute speech. Together we rise. Jelena.
Friends, neighbors, fellow changemakers. Today we find ourselves at a crossroads. The challenges we face are immense, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. The world seems fraught with divisions, injustices, and crises that are beyond our control. But I'm here to tell you this: we are not powerless. In fact, the power to change the world is right here within us, in the very communities we belong to. For so long, we've been conditioned to think that survival is a solitary act, that we must fight for ourselves, by ourselves. But that is a lie. In times of crisis, when it feels like the weight of the world is crushing us, the truth is this: our fates are intertwined. Our individual well-being is inextricably linked to the well-being of those around us. So how do we show up for each other? Not just in the easy moments, but especially when things are hard. Let me offer a few ideas for how we can take action. Number 1, prioritize collective well-being and mutual aid over individual gain. In times of crisis, it's easy to fall into the trap of focusing solely on ourselves. But now is the time to reject individualism and embrace our shared humanity. Our collective well-being must come first. We need to create networks of support built on the principle of mutual aid, where everyone contributes and everyone benefits. So what exactly is mutual aid? Unlike charity, which often positions the recipient as passive and disconnected, mutual aid is rooted in solidarity. It's about recognizing that we're all in this together and pooling our resources, whether that's time, food, money, or knowledge, whatever we have to offer, pooling those resources to ensure that no one is left behind. This could look like launching food drives, cultivating community gardens, or crowdfunding campaigns for those facing hardship. The idea is to share what we have, not just to survive, but to thrive together. We should work to create spaces where support flows both ways, whether that's offering childcare, running errands for elderly neighbors, or helping someone find a job. 2, foster safe spaces for vulnerability. A thriving community is where people are able to be vulnerable. People must be able to share their pain, their fear, and their struggles without fear of judgment or rejection. Foster spaces where people can express themselves openly, whether that's through support groups, community gatherings, or even in your own home. Create environments where listening to one another is just as important as speaking. When we listen and share, we build deeper connections. And in those connections, we find the strength to face whatever challenges come our way. 3, challenge systems of oppression. Facing injustice can feel overwhelming, but collective action is powerful. To make a difference, we must unite to challenge systems of oppression. This might look like volunteering with groups that promote racial justice, attending rallies for causes like healthcare, immigrant rights, climate justice, participating in protests, boycotts, or sit-ins to hold institutions accountable, supporting workers' rights. Here we have the UAW through strikes and organizing, voting and encouraging others to vote, or maybe contacting your local politicians to advocate for justice-driven policies. By sharing information and having these discussions, we strengthen our movement and push for lasting change. 4, practice radical empathy and compassion. Radical empathy is more than just sympathizing with someone. It's about deeply understanding their struggles from a place of shared humanity. This means showing up, even when it's difficult, even when it's inconvenient, even when it feels uncomfortable. Compassionate action is what transforms communities from groups of individuals into families of action. Start by mentoring someone, whether it's a young person, a new immigrant, or someone who is simply struggling to find their way. You can also tip service workers generously, acknowledging the hard work that they do. Donate to homeless shelters, or perhaps participate in community cleanup projects or environmental restoration efforts, actions that can strengthen both the environment and the people in your community. And 5, we need to learn from the past and build for the future. We are not the first generation to face hardship. Communities throughout history have survived wars, oppression, and economic collapse by coming together in solidarity. These lessons can guide us today. We must recognize that our challenges are not insurmountable when we act together. One powerful way to break free from the limitations of the present is through reading. Books like the autobiography of Malcolm X, The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised by Carlos Durandado, and A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. These books offer invaluable insights into resistance, organizing, and building a more just world. Learning from these movements will equip us with the knowledge and inspiration to create the future we want to live in. Friends, the time to act is now. Let us radicalize ourselves, not into despair, but into a deeper commitment to each other. The world may be broken, but we have the power to fix it. One act of kindness, one gesture of solidarity, one shared struggle at a time. Let's build communities that don't just survive, they thrive. Let's rise together, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. The power is in our hands. Let's show up for each other and make the change we wish to see.
Thank you. Thank you, Jelena. 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 Thank I always enjoy the prepared speaking portion of the meeting. As Bill said, that's where we develop our skills, that's where we grow. But we also grow by impromptu speaking, the practice of impromptu speaking. And so I will ask Jelena to step forward again as our table topics master and present us with some impromptu questions. And ideally, you would answer an impromptu question within 1 to 2 minutes.
Thank you. So the theme for today's topics kind of is in line with my speech. So ways that you can get involved in your community. So Master Kimberly Baird Cooley, what role do books play in helping us to develop empathy and compassion for one another? What role do books play in helping us to develop empathy and compassion for one another?
Books and literature are tantamount to developing empathy and understanding for one another. When we are looking at our life through the lens of only our own experience, we are limited to that of our own perspective, our community, people who may be similar to us in their place that they live, their religious affiliation, their political ideology. But books are a gift in that we can read the perspectives, ideas, and thoughts of people, not just who are different from us in their ideology, but all throughout history. We have access to perspectives and ideas of things that we may not otherwise never be exposed to. We may come across information that there's been an active effort to make sure that we don't have access to that information or ideas. And we're lucky enough to live in a place where we don't truly have to worry about that at this present moment. So we're very fortunate to have access to books where we can hear about one another's perspective, open our minds to other possibilities and points of view, and by doing so, better understand our fellow humans and the world.
Thank you. Distinguished Toastmaster Bill Moylan, how important is it to vote and why should people vote? How important is it to vote and why should people vote?
Thank you, Jelena, for the question. Fellow Toastmasters and our welcome guests. The importance of voting, it's our voice. It's a right and a privilege that we have. By voting, we're able to express who we think is the best ones for a particular office, as well as on other items that face us as a community, as a state, as a country, as a society. And so voting also includes different referendums that have been put before us, and we get to have our say in those pieces as well. If we are lucky and our particular candidate does win, then congratulations. But then again, you have that responsibility to hold that candidate responsible for what they had pledged, because that is part of us as what we do as citizens. It's also interesting as when people are not able to vote of how they feel about it. Years ago, when I left the United States and went and worked overseas, it was, gee, how do I vote in an election? Well, I was not allowed to until 1976, when at the time President Gerald Ford signed in the Voting Rights Acts of Americans living and working overseas. I did go to my city county office in the city of Detroit in that fall of 1976. I obtained the right documents and I voted absentee from 1976 until 1986. Every election, every primary, I got a ballot from the city of Detroit, wherever I was in the world, and I voted. And it was such a great privilege as a citizen. So I encourage all of you to continue to exercise your right and responsibility as a voter, as a citizen. Madam Topic Master.
Postmaster Dottie Hamilton, tell me about a time you volunteered and made a difference. Tell me about a time you volunteered and made a difference.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jelena. I know that I look forward to these table topics. This is the acme of my being here on Zoom with you all. I will talk about how I'm getting ready. I have volunteered over the years, but I'm looking forward to something that's coming up immediately. I put my name in with the city of Detroit to volunteer to read to first and second graders. I'm just waiting for them to call me and say, come in. I've gone through the training. It's a Let's Read program. It is so important to volunteer. Now, how did I get that knowledge of what I wanted to do? I was listening to former Commissioner Edna Bell on her show, and she said, you do not have to have anyone in the Detroit school system. You don't have to have any children, grandchildren. No, they need you. Our scores are not well, and you need to come in and help. So I was pricked in my heart as a retired educator who knew that I still have something to do. So I'm excited about the fact that you've asked me about volunteering. You see, I am so excited. It is so important that we reach back and pull people up. Thank you for that topic, and I turn it back over to Jelena.
Thank you, Dottie. Okay, Toastmaster Amy Dukes, describe a time when you helped someone in need. How did it feel? Describe a time when you helped someone in need. How did it feel?
Good evening, everyone, Toastmasters. When I helped someone in need, my little cousin just recently did a donating clothes to different shelters for young women, children, and I went to the store to purchase different toiletries. I had clothes that I donated, coats, shoes. It felt good because instead of me taking it to the Salvation Army, distributing it there, knowing that, okay, these people can tag this up and people can come in and buy it. Giving away these clothes to the kids or bikes, shoes, toiletries, toothbrush, soap, things that they don't have made me feel good because I know that these shelters, homeless people that come into the shelters need these products because they don't have any necessities, out here in the world, in the city. So it felt good, and I felt like I made a difference by doing that.
Thank you. Distinguished Postmaster Karen Baird. Tell me, share a story about how you worked with others to solve a problem in your community. Share a story about how you worked with others to solve a problem in your community.
Problem in my community. Toastmaster Jelena, we have a little civic association in my neighborhood, Kimberly Oaks Civic Association. And last summer, actually even spring, somebody lost control of their car and crashed into the sign that is at the entrance of our community. So that sign's been there for 40 years or more, and it was smashed to pieces, and the structural support with the brick structural support was also toppled. I volunteered to work with the Kimberly Oaks Civic Association to prompt the members to donate so that we could afford to repair that sign. It may not seem like a grand gesture in the big scheme of charitable acts, but we have to remember we take pride in that. We take very pride in our community, and there are a lot of people in our community who have not ever paid dues to the Civic Association. It's not mandatory. We have no legal means of enforcing it like they do in a homeowners association. And so I was very proud when I saw that enough funds had been gathered and people were volunteering, not just to rebuild the sign, but also to beautify the entrance with new landscaping as well and new lighting. It made me proud to be part of this community and proud of the effort. It's on a small scale, but it's, things that are close to home are more meaningful. Thank you.
Postmaster Felice, you've been given a unique opportunity to meet with a local politician on an initiative to improve your community. What initiative are you choosing? If you could meet with a local politician to talk about something that would improve your community, what would you want to talk about?
Thank you, Table Topics Master, for the question. If I was to given an opportunity speaking with a local politician, I would talk about the safety issue in the areas to the politician if they can have any policy or any measures to improve the environment. As you may know, that I currently live in the Seattle area. I am not in the city of Seattle, but it's the suburban area that's close, and the safety is not so great in this area. Although in my community, in the smaller neighborhood, I still choose to live in a safer side of the city, so this is okay. There are still occasional times that we see people just walking by and they look suspicious, and I have seen homeless people that are going across the property line to dig through trash, or they haven't caused any true damage to anything that I've known, but I don't think that's a good sign at this point. So I would definitely want the politician to pay attention to this side of the problem. And then also I think it's also important for all the people in this area to become aware of the safety in our community, to look out for each other. For example, because we're seeing people digging in the trash, maybe we need to shred our letters to make sure there's no identity theft issue, for example. So I would probably let the neighbors know about this so that they can take some action. That would be my answer. Thank you for listening.
All right, Candace, do you want to give it a go?
Let's see, I can try.
Okay. I have a question for you.
Okay.
You could volunteer in any capacity. What would you like to do? What cause is near and dear to your heart? You could volunteer in any capacity. What would you like to do?
To volunteer in any capacity, I'm gonna think of I'm sorry. I'm going to think of my heartstrings, and I love working with the elderly. I love helping them. And if I can go and volunteer at a community center, senior citizen community center, I will love. I'm sorry. I can't. My phone ringing. I'm sorry. I have to get used to the whole speaking thing. I'm not good at it at all. Oh gosh. So
Oh, that was great. You're so brave. Thank you so much. We love that you did that. That stepped outside of your comfort zone, and you've probably experienced some growth today. So that was amazing. Right, and that concludes the table topics.
All right. As Toastmaster, I'm going to introduce myself as the evaluator for the first speech. And I would be given 2 to 3 minutes for my evaluation time. Fellow Toastmasters, and especially Bill. We've all been in that situation. You're speaking and suddenly you're interrupted. Somebody tries to derail you, you get sidetracked. It's very frustrating. And I'm so glad that Toastmasters recognizes this situation enough to give us a project where we can practice it in a safe space. So during your speech, you had some very good, excellent, in fact, information about what we could do as a club. So your speech served 2 purposes. Not only are you demonstrating how to handle a difficult audience, but you're also giving us information that we need on how to improve our club with a focus on make those educational achievements. So I appreciate that very much. You were very organized. However, there were people interrupting you. Some people were arguing with you. Some people were making side comments that had nothing to do with anything. People were shooting down your ideas, so forth and so on. For each one of those situations, I want everyone to be aware and recognize how Bill handled those. He recognized the person who was doing the interrupting. He didn't scold them, but he recognized them by name and gave some sort of a comment to address their concern. Then he steered the conversation back to his original presentation. That is an excellent maneuver that we can all practice and learn from. When somebody tries to derail you, you don't want to be frustrated, yelling at them, scolding them in public. You don't want it to make it a win-lose situation. So you make it a win-win situation by allowing that person, recognizing that they had something to say, but steering the commentary back to the presentation and getting it back on track. So excellent job there. If I was to give you a suggestion, this is one of my favorite suggestions. Maybe you've heard it before. If you're going to have a question and answer period at the end of your speech, make sure that you have sort of a wow kind of a energetic conclusion after the cessation of the questions. So you always want to end on a high energy note. Something, in this case, it could have been a lot more like enthusiasm of encouraging people to participate. I think that if you were to give this speech again, that by ending on a high note, you would be even more encouraging for people to follow your advice and get on board with the DCP points and educational program. And that is my evaluation. And I don't know if I stepped on toes. Jelena, were you the general evaluator?
I could be.
All right, I'm sorry, I think I stepped over you. So I will turn the general evaluator duties back over to you so you can introduce Kim and carry on.
Great. All right, so our second evaluator will be evaluating my speech, Toastmaster Kimberly Baird Cooley, in 2 to 3 minutes.
Thank you. Jelena, your speech was very inspirational. I really appreciated how you addressed everyone at the beginning of the speech, friends, I can't remember the second word, you said fellow change makers. So there's immediately a call to action for all of us by calling us change makers, which I thought was very smart. I like that you organized your speech very well. You had 5 main points: prioritizing collective well-being and mutual aid. And then you defined mutual aid, which was great, just in case anybody didn't know what that was. Fostering safe spaces for vulnerability and explaining what that meant, because that's kind of a broad concept. So giving those concrete examples of what that can mean was really helpful. Your third point was challenging systems of oppression. And again, you gave examples of how to do that. Practicing radical empathy and compassion. You again defined radical empathy. And learning from the past and building towards the future, recognizing that we're not the first generation to survive or face these big issues. So fantastic job on the organization. I also would like to commend you on your gestures and facial expressions. So towards the beginning of the speech, you said something was intertwined and you did this. That was great. I really liked that. When you were talking about people in the vulnerability section sharing their pain, their fear, their struggles, you scrunched your face up like it was an expression of physical pain. And that was really great too. So really great job on the facial expressions. I saw a lot of audience engagement, saw people nodding, everybody was looking towards you in the Zoom view, and you had really good eye contact with the camera, which is hard to do on Zoom. Great job with that. I don't have a ton that you could work on with the speech. The only thing I could say to maybe make it better is maybe a standing up. Standing up might make it a little bit more exciting. I don't know. It might be something to try. But overall, great job. Loved the speech. Fantastic suggestions. I feel like I can go out and make a change now after hearing that. So we really appreciate you.
Thank you. Are you also the all-counter grammarian?
Yes.
Okay, so can you introduce your role and give us the report for the all-counter grammarian?
I would be delighted to. Hello, everybody. I am the all-counter and grammarian. My role is to help us progress in our speaking goals by noting improper and excellent uses of grammar and the word of the day. So I will be going through and commenting on the uses of improper grammar and filler words, and also recognizing those who have used the word of the day. Unfortunately, I'm not so skilled that I'm able to catch myself, but I do know that I've said the word so a handful of times and the word But I'm just going to go in order of who I see on my screen. Bill Moylan, I listened very closely to you because you're a very good speaker and it's hard for me to catch you making any mistakes. You used the word of the day 3 times, so that was amazing. Great job. We tripped you up a little bit today with our interruptions, I think. You had 3 times you used the word so, where I think it could have technically been considered a filler. Twice you used the word now, which I put down with a question mark because I was questioning if it was necessary or not. 1 time you used the word well, 1 time you said and then 1 time you said I did go to, where you could have said I went. But I had to listen super close because you are very good at your grammar and filler words. Myself, I know I said I stumbled over my words and I said so a handful of times. Jelena, fabulous job today. I didn't catch any filler words for you. I was listening, didn't hear any. Great work. Postmaster Karen, You used the word of the day once. Great job. You also had some filler words. You had 1, 2, 3, 4. You had several ums. You had a so. You repeated yourself. You said brick structural part, structural support with the brick. You had a and you had a couple of ums. But overall, good job. Toastmaster Felice, I'm noticing some really great improvement with your filler words. Today you did have several ums. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. You have about 6 or 7 ums, but you're doing so good at reducing those. So I just want to recognize you for that. Amy, thank you so much for doing the table topics. Great job. You had 2 ums and an okay. And Candace, so good. You did a table topic. You had 2 ums, and Dottie, who's not here any longer, unfortunately, but she used the word of the day. So go Dottie. And that ends my report.
Thank you. Can we now get our timers report from Toastmaster Felice?
Yeah, greetings, fellow Toastmasters. I am a timer for the day. I'm sorry, I'm saying again now. So the timer I am keeping is for the table topics and the 2 speeches and the 2 evaluations. For the table topics, oh, I'm sorry. Let me go through the sequence based on what happened during our meeting now. So the first one was the first speech given by Toastmaster Bill Moylan. I am not sure because it looks like it's a 5 to 7 minutes speech. Was that the plan? It was okay. So the time that I kept was by the time you stopped your speech and started say, are there any other questions? It was 7 minutes, 40 seconds. And then people started asking questions and there were some conversations. The whole entire session ended by 9 minutes and 45 seconds. For the second speech by Jelena Verkler, it was also a 5 to 7 minutes speech. I counted the time as 6 minutes and 31 seconds. And then it was the table topics. The first by Toastmaster Kim Baird, the time was 1 minute 42 seconds. And then Toastmaster Bill Moylan, it was 2 minutes 16 seconds. Toastmaster Dottie Hamilton, it was 1 minute 48 seconds. Toastmaster Amy, it was 1 minute 20 seconds. Toastmaster Karen Baird, it was 1 minute 57 seconds. I didn't time myself properly. It was a little bit over 2 minutes. The next session was the evaluation. For the first evaluation by Karen Baird, the time was supposed to be between 2 to 3 minutes, and you used 2 minutes and 59 seconds, right on point. And the second evaluation by Toastmaster Kim Baird, it was 2 minutes and 50 seconds. That concludes my timers report today.
Thank you. I'll now give the general evaluation for the meeting. Start off, we started right at 6. Our sergeant at arms was not here today, so Bill kindly stepped in and made sure that we got off to a prompt start. We remembered to record the meeting and we greeted our guests. We also had several roles to fill. We have a smaller skeleton crew today, but we jumped right in and everybody played a role, so that was great. We had our word of the day from Word of the Day Extraordinaire, Dottie, and we had lots of usages of the word of the day. Great, increasing our vocabulary. For the prepared speeches, Bill gave one of the most unique speeches that I think I've seen in my tenure at Toastmasters, which I think really highlights the scope of of these programs, these learning programs. I know for people who are new, you might not be familiar with what these types of learning programs are, but there are, tons of variations depending on what you're looking to get out of this. So it's always interesting hearing from Bill's speeches, different ways to give a presentation. And I thought it was great that everybody jumped in and volunteered to interrupt him. So that was a fun portion of the meeting, although it made me cringe a little bit. I don't like when people are interrupted. And then I gave my speech, which was also within the time frame. We had 2 wonderful evaluations. Karen, I know you've given that feedback before. I really do like that. I think it's a really good point. And Kimberly, thank you so much for the feedback. It's really helpful for me. Now I catch myself saying, our table topics were great today. Everybody answered appropriately in the time frame, and we had Candace so bravely volunteer to go today. I'm so happy. That made my night. So congratulations. You should be proud of yourself. For our timers report and all-counter grammarian, we noted that we had some use of filler words and we were within the time frame. So overall, I think it was a great meeting. I'm so happy to be here with you guys, and I'll turn it back over to Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Jelena. Now, there was one item on the agenda that got skipped, and that was the table topics evaluation. So I'm going to go ahead and give that now. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We're just going to circle back. I want to say that what you would ideally do in answering a table topic is clarify the question, have some kind of brief introduction, a body, and a conclusion. And I want to applaud our membership. I see that people are getting more and more adept all the time at answering table topics. This is a really key skill. It's so important when you're in a meeting at work, if you're asked to stand up and say something in front of a group, maybe at church, maybe at a volunteer organization, that you're able to do that and do it succinctly and have that opening and that wrap up. I like how during the table topics, everybody gave very specific examples of their answers. I didn't hear vague answers or just wandering answers. And Candace, I know that this was your first time, and I applaud that because it's tough to get up and just speak off the cuff, especially if you weren't expecting it, weren't planning on it. So I applaud you for that. So let's all keep that focus when we practice our table topics here. It's practice for our professional life, for our career, and how we present ourselves in the world. All right. Are there any questions or comments about the meeting? Chair recognizes Kimberly Baird.
I just want to say sorry to Bill. I didn't actually think any of the stuff I said. It was just my assignment.
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. No, it was fine. Not a problem. I would like to ask, Jelena, you completed a level tonight?
Yes, level 3.
Level 3?
Yes. I will
Okay,
be submitting
and then
that.
you'll be doing that in Pathways, and as VP of Ed, I'll approve it?
Right.
Good. Okay, so see how we're getting these things knocked off? We got another level 3. That's a goal.
Well,
Great.
I remembered it was in your goal a couple months
Yes.
ago, and I was like, well, I have to get it done by the end of the year because it was Bill's
Hey,
goal.
well, look at that. Club, we should clap tonight because tonight your members completed 2 goals tonight. Jelena got P4 and I completed P7. So that'll be up. So we're already at 5 goals then. That means
Cool.
we just got to get more members, but we're going to do President's Distinguished, aren't we?
That'd be great.
Karen, are we going to be using the same Zoom room information for the second half of the year?
Yes, I'm keeping the same Zoom link until
Okay.
it gets corrupted and hacked. I'm going to use the
Okay.
same one.
No,
All
good,
right.
because what I'll do is I'll include that. It's already on our face page, which I can't do anything about, but in the meeting agendas, I'll put it up in the header
Okay.
because people say, gee, I got the agenda and I can't find it. Well,
Okay. That's a good idea.
we'll put it in multiple places. That would help on that. And then you are the club contact on Toastmasters International, correct? You
I
know,
would
when
have to
people want
confirm that.
information
I would
about
have to confirm that. I know that we changed the contact to Jelena on the free toast.
Oh, yes,
I would
I'm
have to check on Toastmasters International, who's the contact.
correct, because they did have the thing, they now have enhanced, this is for everyone's benefit. Toastmasters now, that they would before, when someone would say find a club and you get an email, whoever that contact was. Well, now that person could actually schedule themselves to come to one of our meetings and let us know about it. Kind of
Cool.
interesting. And there's a whole tracking system that we've got within the Toastmaster pieces on it. So it was kind of an interesting webinar I went to, but it's available to anyone if you'd like to see. We've got more ways of contacting because we've, again, getting our membership up for that. So Jelena, I did send to you what was the request that went to President and Secretary to approve my level 4 as VP of Ed. Karen, you're Secretary.
Yes.
You and I would then, one of us would be approving Jelena. So as soon as I get it, I'll act on that. But kudos to all of us. So I will be creating the meetings for January through June. And we'll do it on the 2nd and 4th. Should we add a club contest or just wait for the area? We'll just take.
My opinion is it takes so much effort to put on a club contest. I'd rather just put the people forward, because if we have the club contest, then we have to follow all the rules of the contest with judges, officials,
Correct.
Timekeepers,
Yeah,
ballot counters.
well, I hear you, my dear.
Yeah.
I agree with you, and I think we should do this. As soon as we hear from our area director when our contest is going to be, we can also identify one of the club meetings, and this is how flexible we can be, but whoever's going to be our contestants can practice at that meeting. So if we have someone being the international speech contestant, and if we got 2 or 3 or 2 for that, I think we're allowed to do
2.
Yep. And then 2 contestants for the evaluation. We can use those speakers as the target speaker, and then the evaluators are also practicing. And then all of us members, we can share with you the forms that are used on judging. And it's different than evaluation, but this is a learning opportunity for us. And I mentioned January 25th, everyone is welcome to attend that event. And as I did state, it's going to be in person at Lawrence Tech University, and it will also be online. So you can see it through Zoom or in person on that.
Okay. I want to make sure that I point out that we do have a spring conference coming up. It's going to be held in Dearborn. It's going to be an in-person event. If you've never been to a spring conference before, it's fun. You get to meet people. There's some really great breakout sessions. So we'll have more information about that as we go along. I want to open up the floor for people to volunteer for their future meetings. Our next meeting is not until January 14th. So we have a long break. Then we'll pick back up on the 14th and the 28th of January. So as you're thinking ahead about what you would like to do on the 14th and the 28th, what roles would you like to take at that time? So does anybody have something they would like to ask for, a role.
Can I be an evaluator?
You writing it down, Bill?
No,
Okay. Then I'll write it down.
I haven't given a speech in a long time, so I should probably do that.
Excellent. Amy, when do you think you'll be ready to do that icebreaker?
You mean a speech or what's it?
Yes, yes, a speech.
Oh no, I don't know. So when it comes to the speeches, is it anything that you want to discuss?
We can meet one-on-one, talk about it, and get you prepared. Let's put you down for January 28th for your
Okay.
icebreaker, okay?
Okay.
Elise, do you have any roles in particular you would like to fill?
So it's been a really busy time recently. I would hope to give a speech, but I will have to see how things are in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, well, we have quite a while. It's almost a month and then 6 weeks for our next 2 meetings. So hopefully things will lighten up for you.
Yeah.
Bill, do you have something in particular you would like to sign up for?
yes, Jelena, I just approved your level 3.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any particular role, Bill, that you would like to fill?
I'll be Toastmaster.
Oh, okay, great. Candace, how are you doing?
Sorry, it took a long time for me to unmute. I'm doing great. I'm just sitting here, listening to how the meeting goes, and I'm just soaking everything in. And I really like it. I see it's going to be very, very challenging for me, but I'm willing to put up the work.
Okay, great. So, do you think you'll be ready to officially join the club?
Yes, I was trying to actually do that, but I saw two different ways of paying the membership.
Oh, okay.
I saw like one way was to go straight through one of you guys or Cash App.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just do Cash App and then it just is it be connected to my account?
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Kimberly is now the treasurer, and it's $ MetroMasters is where you would pay. And
Okay.
you'd have to look on the application for how much it would cost to join. When you join, like in December, then you would pay for December through March. If you join in January, you're paying for January through March.
Okay.
So
Could I also add, Candace, they now allow you, yes, is just what Karen said, for the December, January, February, or March, which would be 4 months, or if you did it January 1st, it's 3 months, and you can pay for the next 6 months at the same time.
I was just getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing. I just paid you guys, what we got to do this again,
Right.
Usually if there's 3 months or less, people will pay for whatever's left of those 3 months and then the next 6 months, so that you don't get tagged again.
Yeah.
And Karen and the VP of membership, did Anthony Gore join?
Yes, he's a member.
Okay.
I don't know why he didn't contact me, so I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes my memory's it kind of scattered a little bit. So
Yeah.
If he told me that he wasn't going to be here, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Because I thought he was going to had joined, but he's not on our membership list yet. So.
Oh, he's really?
Yes.
Oh, I'll definitely double check that.
Okay. But Candace?
Yes.
You just helped us complete another goal of 4 new members.
Oh, wow.
See, this isn't that hard, guys.
Yay!
We're knocking this out of the park,
See, it's a win-win, Candace.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I see it is. I love it already. I love the energy.
Good.
And you guys, you're gonna boost my confidence.
And Candace, for your icebreaker scheduled for January 22nd, you've been working on the speech your whole life.
You're
You
right.
tell us about you.
Okay. Okay.
So you can't say you don't have to do too much research, but you can present it the way you like, and it's on that. But one thing, if you like, Karen, we have her email, correct?
Yes. But you know what, Candace, you can put it in the chat again just to make sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Because what I can do is send the icebreaker module to you. And
Okay.
then, you don't have to wait to get the pathways and everything else. And so you can start reviewing that and seeing that. But it's open free access. So if you could put your email in the piece, I'll get that to you.
Okay. Here, I put it in right now. There it is right
Thank
there.
you. Speaking of pathways, they did redo the Pathways education program online. I created a video. I'm pretty sure I sent it out to the club members. If you are interested, if you want some one-on-one help on how to navigate through the pathways, I'm happy to help anybody who wants some one-on-one time.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. All right. Are there any more items for questions, suggestions?
I have a
comments?
question for Candace. I
Yes.
see your email is lovinghearts1227. Is that your birthday?
No. 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 It was just some numbers I picked up.
Oh, okay. I thought I was going to wish you happy birthday because
I
we
know,
won't see you
right?
till next year. But okay.
Okay. All right.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So the order of the meeting, it seems changed. We were doing table topics before this official speaking. So I don't know if this is only temporary or is this going to be the pattern going forward. I'm just curious.
Bill, do you want to respond?
No, go right ahead.
Okay. What had happened is that we had an agenda with 3 speakers on it, and we wanted to make sure that we had time for those 3 speakers, and we would cut short the table topics if we didn't have enough time. So that's why we've done it that way. Is it okay with people that we have table topics after the prepared speech, or do you prefer it before?
Either way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. Yep.
Okay.
I suggest to have it after the speakers. The reason is this, then the evaluators have more time to prep their evaluation.
I agree. I always find myself trying to get it all
Yes.
synthesized quickly.
Mhm.
So I like that.
Okay. All right, then. Are there any more? All right. I want to wish everyone just a wonderful, wonderful holiday season coming up. Blessings and happiness to everybody, to you, all of you and your family. And we look forward to seeing you in the next year. So keep your eyes peeled for some meeting recap coming. And if anything else comes up that you need to know about, I will be emailing you all. So thank you. And I will call meeting adjourned.
Good night.
Happy
Good night.
holidays, everyone.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.